G'day, Michael here. This video is about these ginormous spice rack panels. They're 1300 by 555 thereabouts. Now 555, typical drawer that's say 500 or 600 mil deep is going to be 568 inside, so it gives you a tiny gap front to back. And so obviously anything smaller, these get cut down for. Now most drawers are 500 mil nominal. Depending on the runner type, you'll end up with, let me think, so 484 will be a common depth, front to back. And they do actually compress a little bit, so if you have a small error in the measurement, there's a little bit of give front to back. But left to right, we have to be pretty accurate, and if anything, we need to be undersize. So it'd certainly make it a couple of millimetres undersized, and it doesn't hurt if it's 5 millimetres undersized left to right, because you need to be able to get the item in and out. And 5 millimetres equates to like 2.5 millimetres either side. But they're easy to remove, so if you want to clean out the drawer, just lift them up, clean out the drawer, whatever, if you spill something or whatever. So you don't have to be too worried about that being a perfect fit. It's better that you can get it in and out easily. All right, now these are 1300 by 555, but the dimensions we can cut it to obviously are limited really by what you need and what I can manage to hold. So much less than say 300 millimeters left to right, which is quite small, it's only about that small portion, is difficult for me to handle for cutting, but anything up to the size of the panel itself is quite workable. All right, so there are two really significantly different designs of drawers. There's like a square format, which I'll show you shortly, and the metal-sided type drawer runners, which are also quite common. One of the manufacturers is Blum. There's quite a few others, but Blum's sort of the common one around here. Okay, so here you can see the spice rack in the drawer. Now this construction of the drawers has got basically square sides, so it's very easy to measure the width. Width is left to right, and the depth is front to back. Now this drawer is quite deep, front to back. It's 600 millimeters. And that's about the limit of what these spice racks can do. But it is quite simple. And this is how actually, you can see how these things stack. So they present the labels nicely towards you. And I guess, it's about as pleasant as you can have a drawer being. Okay, so this is what the actual spice rack section looks like. This is a small piece, it's not the full size. But this is kind of the profile. I don't know how well that shows up. I'm trying to change handing. That's a profile. It's pretty hard and brittle. That's why I'm offering the service to cut it. You do need some specialized gear. You can see how it's kind of stretched. This is an outside end. This is the part that I would cut off, but we have to make it smaller than that. So this is very close looking at it. I'll put a pen or something in there for reference. So there's a pen, so you can see the scale. Put that maybe that way. So I'm looking at it pretty closely, so it gives you an idea of the scale, what I'm looking at here. Okay, so that's how this section works. You can see how these dimples work. They basically provide a sort of a catch point for any of the items you might put on there. Right, now, I showed previously the square-sided drawers. Okay, so here you have the typical section, the essential components of the metal-sided drawer runner system. Now, if we cut the rack to the width that you have on the bottom here, I'm trying to hold this steady, the width we have on the bottom here, you'd see there's this fairly large gap here. So what we'll probably want to do is make it sit about there to minimize this top space. I can't cut at an angle because of the nature of how difficult these things are to cut. And the likelihood of shattering. It's a bit of a tricky material to cut. It's quite hard. I'm trying to think of a material that maybe you're familiar with. I'm not sure of what the actual material is, but it seems like PVC or ABS, something hard like that, which is kind of like about the hardness of, say, the plastic in your keyboard, computer keyboard, or that kind of thing. Or maybe a power tool. So it's pretty hard, pretty tough. But if you try to cut it too aggressively, it's very brittle and it'd be easy to shatter. So it's very durable for its job, but it's difficult It's both hard but easy to fracture from the point of view of cutting. All right, well, I guess that's that, but the measurements I need to know, the width are left to right, and the depth is front to back inside the drawer. Well, I guess that's it for these ginormous spice racks. Feel free to like, share, subscribe, ask a question, leave a comment. Bye for now.